Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please give this video a thumbs up to help the channel grow. Click the bell icon at the top of the page to get notified when I post a new video. Universal Channeling. Channeling the Conscious Universe. Blossom Goodchild, Channeling the Federation of Light, August 7, 2022. Hello again. Our last conversation regarding the code sparked off much interest. The week before, you had spoken about crystals. I was wondering if you could, therefore, talk about the two together. Federation of Light. Welcome Blossom, to you and naturally to all those who find our conversations agreeable and resonate warmly within them. A lovely way to begin, indeed. As discussed, absolutely everything has a code that continually moves and vibrates. Blossom Goodchild. Can we stop right there? A code vibrates. Federation of Light. Everything vibrates. Blossom Goodchild. Yes, but codes are numbers/equations. Federation of Light. Yet, they must vibrate in order to come into existence. Blossom Goodchild. Yet, everything has to have a code to firstly come into existence, doesn't it? Federation of Light. Indeed Blossom. Blossom Goodchild. Already I am flummoxed. Seems a bit like the who came first, the chicken or the egg scenario. Federation of Light. So, in order to keep this complex matter simple, let us move through that, so we may get to where we need to get to. Blossom Goodchild. Let's. Federation of Light. So, naturally, crystals are made up of codes, because everything is. Do we agree on this? Blossom Goodchild. Yes. Federation of Light. Do we agree also, that every crystal, as an individual item, has a different code? Blossom Goodchild. Yes. Federation of Light. Good. Let us try and take you deeper. Although each crystal has its own coding, that coding comes within the bracket of crystal coding. In the same way, the human being would come under the bracket of human being coding, even though everyone's coding vibrates differently. Blossom Goodchild. Can any two people, any two crystals have the same coding? Federation of Light. No. And yet, they can vibrate on the same frequency. Blossom Goodchild. Already, my head is spinning with questions. This being the case, to go back to last week's conversation, how then, can our codes match up with the codes flowing in, if no two codes are the same? Federation of Light. Because, although different as one human to another's codes may be, as we said, they can vibrate on/within the same frequency. You have to try and wrap your head around the fact that codes are immeasurable, beyond comprehension, ever-changing, ever fine-tuning to far, which they are resonating within/upon. So, we would say that every code has its ethereal counterpart. Blossom Goodchild. Our Google mate says, ethereal, extremely delicate and light in a way that seems not to be of this world. For those unsure, so, when you say, no two codes are the same. Wait, did you say that? Everything has its double. One in/of this world, and one not? Federation of Light. Correct. Blossom Goodchild. Wouldn't all codes be of an ethereal nature? They are not physical. Federation of Light. Yet, they are of the Earth's vibration. Blossom Goodchild. Not sure if we shouldn't just change the subject. I could get very lost and so could the reader. Federation of Light. Let us keep going a little longer Blossom, and we will do our best to let the flow of our words become easier to understand. Let us return to the coding of the crystals. We have spoken before about all crystals, at a given point, connecting up to each other. This can only take place through their coding reaching a certain level of light. In the same way, as we explained to you of the coding within the self. Lightening up, heightening. In order to connect and match up with the codes flowing in. Blossom Goodchild. Yet, our codes could never match a crystal's codes, is that right? Federation of Light. Yes. However, although different, they can be within the same recipe. Blossom Goodchild. Shoot me now. Federation of Light. As in. For reference. The ingredients of a cake may be many. All with their own coding. Yet, this does not mean that they cannot be blended together and become a cake. Blossom Goodchild. Yet, surely cake ingredients are in the same bracket, a food bracket perhaps. Apparently, human beings and crystals are not. Federation of Light. Although crystal and human codes are indeed in different brackets, as are animals, water. You name it. We shall make the analogy of each bracket being a piece of a jigsaw puzzle. Although very different, when joining together, they make up the whole picture. Blossom Goodchild. Okay, I can follow that. I feel you want to steer back to the crystals and that you have a point to make about that. Federation of Light. That is also correct, Blossom. That point is that you can change the codes of the crystals. By involving them in your lives, you are able to activate them, bring them into their fuller selves, awaken them, so to speak, into the fullness of themselves. Blossom Goodchild. Okay. Yet, what about those crystals that do not have human contact? Federation of Light. They lie in wait/dormant. To a certain degree. Until such time when the already activated crystal codes match their ethereal counterpart and send out the message to the ones waiting, which then triggers them to do what they came to do. Blossom Goodchild. Which is what? Federation of Light. Extraordinary. Magic. Blossom Goodchild. The word magic took a long time to come through. Federation of Light. We were indeed searching for the most appropriate term. Blossom Goodchild. You see, in my head, I am imagining when you say that. Laser beams of light shooting around the planet from different crystals, and each time it reaches another crystal, large or small, it's like a huge spark explodes from it and then the laser beam continues on, adding the energy from each crystal it connects with. Are you putting that image in my head? Federation of Light. Yes. Blossom Goodchild. You have said this will take place when the wave comes. The event? Federation of Light. Yes. Blossom Goodchild. And forgive my ignorance. But what for? What happens then? What effect do the crystals have on everything? What is their purpose? Federation of Light. Bringing in, and activating the very much higher codes that accompany the wave. Do you see, Blossom? Everything that you are here to do is connected to raising the vibration of the planet. As you are realizing now, recognizing now, this power of your light, we are able to offer more understanding of how everything that is upon your earth plane is in conjunction with accomplishing this extraordinary mission. Can you feel how you are aligning your inner knowing now? Blossom Goodchild. Yes. I think I can feel the knowing as opposed to explaining it in words. Federation of Light. That is the knowing of truth, Blossom. As we have always said, it is about the feeling. For the feeling is who you are. Blossom Goodchild. Let me attempt in a nutshell. Okay. As we, as the light, the love, and the truth of our I amness, raise our vibrational frequencies, we are able to internally accept how we are all in this together, crystals and all. In that, we had an arrangement/agreement before we came, that we would do the best we could to discover our truth. In order to make friends on a deeper level of understanding with our crystals, for example, so that together we can raise the roof, so to speak. And in doing so, the crystal's energy, at a given command, will zoom across the planet, connecting up with each other in order to activate the massively higher codes that come in with the wave of love, which in turn changes the vibration of absolutely everything, for the better. Not sure if that is a nutshell or a bombshell. What the? Does one need drugs before or after this session? I am concerned you may have lost many. I feel I have perhaps lost myself. Many had to read the last message over and over to get it. This one needs a university degree in nuttyhood. Federation of Light. You have done exceedingly well, Blossom. Blossom Goodchild. Not so sure. And, where to from here? The Nutty Farm? Federation of Light. Growth and expansion in understanding your power as it lights your way. Blossom Goodchild. And the thing is, and I think many will nod their heads also, I can truly notice this change. This shift in my being. Of late, I have been sent some links to scaremongering possibilities of the future. Yet, I just choose for it not to be in my reality. This sort of stuff is what turns me on. Federation of Light. This sort of stuff, Blossom, is what turns on the light of truth of self. That knowing that we have mentioned over and over. Blossom Goodchild. I can't say I fully know. Federation of Light. Yet, you know that you know more now than you did. Yet, it is not of knowledge that you know. It is of a knowing. An understanding within the being of moving further into the role one came to perform. As the codes, the frequencies within the vibration lift, One begins to connect the dots, and although none of it may make sense, it all begins to make sense. Blossom Goodchild. Wait. That doesn't make sense. Or does it? Brain blowout. Dear God, you can't make this shit up. I shall have such a laugh reading this back, and if it does make any sense at all, I think I deserve a noddy badge. Are you off now then? Federation of Light. We feel there is enough to digest for now. Blossom Goodchild. I think many may require some Gaviscon. An indigestion tablet. Well, what can I say? Thanks guys. I just need to sweep my brains up off the floor, and I'll be good to go. In gratitude, in loving service. I am. Website, blossomgoodchild.com